Spirit. It's everywhere. Are we able to communicate with them? What can they teach us? Welcome to School Through Spirit. Host Diet Renee is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. Diet was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. Now, your host of School Through Spirit, Diet Renee.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Diet Renee here, School Through Spirit on WLTK-DB.com. This is a show that I explore different people's lives, their modalities, and how spirit has impacted their lives. Now, each week I do talk to people of different genres, spiritual modalities, and usually I talk a little bit about something that spirit gave me in the morning prior to that. Now, this week I'm kind of doing things a little backwards. Why? Because I'm not going to do my talk this morning. We're going to, how I normally talk about the end of the show, about things, advertisements, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. That's where I'm starting today, is right there. Starting at the end, and then we're going to go into readings today, because today I've got Miss Kelly Brickel. Whoop, toot. We all know Kelly. We all love Kelly. I love Kelly. Are you kidding? I love Kelly. So with that being said, make sure you know your birthday numbers if you're out there, because Kelly does the birthdays, guys, the numerology, and she's freaking phenomenal at it. I mean, you're not going to find too many better in the business than her. She has just got a mind for numbers and the calculations and the knowledge, and to me, it's mind-blowing. To me, it's mind-blowing. It's just magical to watch her work. Truly, truly magical to watch her work. Now, I do want to talk about next week, because, guys, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here next week, but the show must go on, right? The show must go on. So who we are going to have next? I mean, I can show you my week. It's super busy. And it's going to get busier. So, let me see. Next week, I won't be here. Guess who will be? Charlie Lynn. Charlie Lynn, my guest host, is coming on next week. I believe don't quote me on this. Don't quote me, but I believe she's bringing Amy Burns back. Okay. Amy. I can't think of Amy's last name. I know I just totally massacred it. I didn't mean to do that, but I know I did. But Amy from the Northwoods is coming on with her, and they're going to rock it with tons of energy, lots of fun. It's going to be mind-blowing. Then again, yes, that is Miss Stephanie, or Miss Charlie Lynn. I apologize. I got the wrong person, but Miss Charlie Lynn is next week. You'll know who she is because it's the live. You see the ad with her. Now, when I come back the week after, I'm telling you who I got. His name is Gordon Ellison. Gordon is a freaking rock star. He's from up north, way up north, like Canada. He's a psychic. He's a medium. He does trance. Hey, good morning, Miss Ellie. He rides a Harley. I mean, I'll tell you what, this man, and the depths of him and the conversations are just, I would tell you what, I would speak with him, talk to him every day of the week. He's just so much there, so in depth. It's awesome. I can't even express to you. So, I mean, you're not going to want to miss that. Okay. You're not going to want to miss that. Now that's on the 19th. So I know that's a little ways out, but I just wanted to kind of let you know about that. Now let's talk about what's going on this week. This Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Janesville, Wisconsin, my town. This is where I'm at, guys, Janesville, Wisconsin. And it is called Metaphysical. It is taking metaphysical with the paranormal, combining it together to make one hell of a show, okay? One heck of a show. It is going to be mind-blowing. I can't even tell you how mind-blowing this is. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring up the lineup. Let's bring up the lineup of people. I got to bring it up because I'll tell you what, there's so many amazing, amazing people coming. Oh my God, where did it go? I have shared this thing a million times, and then I go to try to find it, and it's not there. Isn't that always what it is? Okay, there it is. So, who do we have coming this weekend? Hey, Deidre, we have got, these are the headliners coming in, the people coming in. This is mind-blowing, guys, to me. All these people are coming into Janesville, Wisconsin. It is $40 for a one-day pass. It is $60 for both days. In that, though, not only do you get to walk around, explore everything, but there's a million speakers going on, a million speakers. We have, and a panel of guests. So we have got Rob Thompson. You guys know him because I brought him on. He's become a very dear friend of mine. He's also my business partner. He is Rob Thompson, spiritual medium. He is the Ghost Finders dude. We've got Brian, I'm going to say Ron Kano. He is paranormal caught on camera and haunted collector. He has got a Discovery Show channel. We got Patty Negree coming. She is a Hollywood psychic medium, the Good Witch, and she's all over Gaia TV. Amazing woman. We have got Natalie Jones. Natalie Jones is the CEO of Paraflex. Oh my God, she created a whole paranormal station for you guys. And if you haven't already hooked up and subscribed to it, it's like $3.99 a month. And you can see all this paranormal stuff that she's brought out. It's freaking phenomenal. We have got Destiny and Michael Fox from Fox Paranormal. We got Jeremy Leonard. He's on Hallowed Ground, Ghosts of the Morgan City. Barnaby Jones. He is Wisconsin Caps. He's from Wisconsin, a huge paranormal group. Mike Ricksetter. He is Alaska Triangle and the Haunted. Mike Herberti. He is American Ghost Walks. Sherry Meyer. She is Reiki Magic out of Duluth. You got me going to be there. And guess what? I'm not talking anymore, guys. I'm doing a gallery. Can you believe it? I'm doing a gallery Sunday. The ticket will be on Sunday. Now, you will have to pay extra for the gallery, but yes, I am doing a gallery that day. Just a simple 1 hour gallery. It's going to be phenomenal. We also have got guest moderator Dave Schrader coming in. He is the Paranormal Go and Holzer Files. So if you've ever seen Holzer Files on TV on Discovery Channel, that's Dave. And somebody new to the lineup this week is Chris Fleming. Y'all know who Chris Fleming is? Good morning, Miss Lisa. Chris Fleming. He is just, I need to find his stuff here. Chris Fleming is, I'm going to read this because you guys got to look him up. He's joining us. He's a spiritual consultant, the host of a Spiritual Talk podcast, a professional speaker and medium of paranormal investigation seen on TV's Help, My House is Haunted, Psychic Kids, Ghost Hunters, Dead Famous, and Larry King Live, not to mention a million more. This guy has been doing this longer than anybody. Thank you for sharing it, Miss Lisa. And Chris just popped on this last week, so you don't even see him on the flyer, but you'll see him all over. These are just such amazing, amazing, amazing people coming to say, hey, how you doing? What you got going on? There to just meet and greet, do whatever. And I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. This is just a rock solid event. You're also going to have a few other things going on. We have got, just a million talks going on. Saturday night, Patty Negree is actually doing a gallery. So that's an extra event above and beyond. But she is doing a gallery Saturday night, which I'll tell you what, if you've ever wanted a chance to have a reading with her, this is the time to show up and go, oh my God, I'm here. Friday night is our VIP dinner. You know what? You're going to meet all of those people. We're all going to be, including myself, if you ever wanted to meet me, we're all going to be there having dinner, talking, celebrating, joining in beautiful conversations, just being there as a group of people. You know what? Totally tangible, totally awesome. And all these people are tangible. They're amazing people. We're looking, there's no egos. These people are just everyday people with some amazing abilities. Okay. So you need to come on, show up. Come on in. It's a Holiday Inn in Janesville, Wisconsin, right off of I-90. You're going to see a lot of road construction. Don't get me wrong. It's still not hard to get to. Really, it is not hard to get to, but please come on in and say hi. Now, for anybody watching this, please share it. Give us some hearts. Give us some sharing. I'm trying to find it on my own page because I think I need to refresh because I done lost it. Let me refresh, see if I can find it again. There it is. So literally, guys, take a minute to share this. Take a minute to share this broadcast that's going out today. Just because, hey, Robert, I believe you're in there, Robert. Yes. Anyway, but yes, please take a minute to share this. Say happy holiday to everybody. I don't know what the holiday is other than I'm just really happy. I am going to share this myself all over creation right now because that's what I do. Um, just because I want everybody to come in here. I want you guys to have a chance to have a reading. You know what? Kelly is just a phenomenal person. And like I said, bring your numbers. You guys she's been with me several times. She's literally my numerologist. So, also what is going on in life these days? What is going on in life these days, guys? If you've wanted to, hey, good morning, Miss Pamela. If you've ever wanted to take my beginner's class in person, good morning, Miss. I was just going to talk about you, Kim. If you ever wanted to take, excuse me, my beginner's class in person with me, not online, but in person. You know how I do the 1-day class? I am doing it at a few different locations now. I'm doing one at Kim Pomeroy's place. And good morning, Miss Deb. I'm doing one at live 1-day in-person beginners psychic mediumship development at Kim's place in Eau Claire. I'm also doing it at Terry. I just need to bring up everybody's. I am just not there. Kim, can you type what your name of your place? It's Indigo. Is it Indigo Waters, darling? I apologize. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but my brain is going blank. So I believe it's Indigo Waters. Hope it good. LOL. Thank you. So I believe Kim owns Indigo Waters. I believe that when we're in June or July, I go over, and then we're also going to do a beginner psychic mediumship for kids at her place, and it's going to be a kids and mommy or kids and daddy. So it's one kid, one parent at her place also. Then we're going to go over to Soul and Synergy, also in Eau Claire, but Indigo Waters Holistic Therapies and Retreats LLC. Thank you, Kim. Then I go over to Soul and Synergy, also in Eau Claire, but it's like the opposite side of Eau Claire, and Eau Claire is huge. And I'm going to do the beginners there also. And then we're going to possibly look at doing my intermediate course in both of those locations. But another place, actually up in St. Croix, Wisconsin, asked me to come out. So I will be teaching over at The Art, The Mind. It's a place over in St. Croix, Wisconsin. I'll be teaching also there. And then we decided literally in Janesville, Wisconsin to teach it again down here. But that's not until the end of July or August, I believe. So if you want to take that class, it is everywhere, anywhere. And I'm telling you what, I'm so excited to teach it again. I have a passion, guys. I have this huge passion. Just go do, let's do this. So please take the time. If you ever want to share it, whatever you need to do. So what else is going on with the station? You know what? If you ever wanted to do that advertising, please take a minute. You know what? I just had an advertising made. With the station. It's really cool. You send in some information into Todd. He kind of creates the commercial for you, sends it back to you, sees if you like it or not. It's flipping amazing. It's not that expensive. When you're looking at the course of advertisement over a month period of time, and not only does it do live on all the shows, it turns around and goes into our podcast. Because as you guys know, my show is live right now. But as soon as we're done, this flips into a podcast and it goes into iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podbeam, Apple Podcast, the Audible, Amazon Prime. It's huge. It goes all these different places. YouTube. Good morning, Miss Sandy. Oh my God, I haven't seen Sandy in forever. All of these places. So it turns into this podcast and it stays there forever. So you're paying for this you're really only paying for the live advertisement, and the podcast form is free. And trust me, I will tell you what, people reach out to me all the time, or they come to find me and just at an event and say, wow, I seen you once and I had to go back and watch all your shows. And I have 2 years of shows. So think about all those people that have been advertising on my show for 2 years. This lady went back and listened to that advertising, 2 years worth of advertising. That was all free now, wasn't it? So please take a moment to think, see if you want to do that. You know, if you've ever wanted a show of your own, please, you got a voice, you got something you want to talk about, reach out, go to the WLTK-DB.com, send a message to Todd saying, hey, I'm looking to have my own show. Oh, he does all the work. This is not scary. This is not brain science on our end either, guys. I'll tell you what happens. Literally, you send Todd, information. This is kind of what I like to do. And he's like, okay, what time of the day, what time of the week, whatever. When do you want to do this? You pick a day and a time. Do you want to be on 1 hour? Do you want to be on 2 hours? You work with him. You collaborate with him. He also trained you how to talk on the radio or on live, So he trained you how to do that. Then he sends you a link every week to say, hey, here's your live. And all you have to do is have a Google account or be able to get into Google because it has to be done off of Google because that's a StreamYard thing. You hit live, boop, there you are. You start talking. It's awesome. You always have a link to Todd, the producer, who gets you through anything that you think may not be able to do it. So if you've had a voice, something you've wanted to do, please reach out. Todd is right there. It's not rocket science. He's awesome at this and he'll get you going. He will really get you going, you know? So what do you think about those people? What do you think about that? So other things we're looking at. I feel like I just need to share everywhere, guys. So other places we're looking at, things we are doing at. Trying to get back to my own page. This is crazy. Trying to get my own page back. It's like, where did it go? So line up for the week. I need to bring this up on my phone so everybody can see this. So my lineup for the shows throughout the week, as you know, I always got to bring up the picture. You would think after all these 2 years, I would have it like ingrained in my brain. Clearly it is not. I have to go scroll through all the Disney pictures. So clearly I need to take a picture of this and bring it back up to a little bit more front of my phone than it was before. I do know we start, as you know, every Monday morning with myself, School Through Spirit at 9 a.m. Tonight we have Be the Change with Christina Bloom. On to Tuesdays, at 7 p.m., we have New Bridge Radio with Kevin Mackey. At 10 p.m., we have Paranormal Pete with Pete Orbea. Wednesdays at it's at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We've got the Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickel. 8 p.m. that night, we have Over the Target with Missy Hart and Nicole Ford. Thursdays, 7 p.m. is Realm of Darkness with Rennie and Ashley. Now, that is a true crime, real crime station. Totally awesome to watch. 8 p.m. is the Afterlife Chronicles. That's with Nicole Strickland. And Fridays, 8 p.m. with Secrets Within with Rennie Rodriguez. So it's an amazing, amazing lineup, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So I'm just reaching out to see if Kelly is here and kind of going from there, because if Kelly is here, we are going to bring her in. I'm just waiting to see if somebody says if she's here yet. Yes, she is here. So what we're going to do, guys, is take a quick station break here. And when we come back, we will have Kelly Brickel on. This is DeEtte Renee with School Through Spirit, WLTK-DB.
DeEtte Renee, psychic medium. All of us have questions about our lives, our loved ones, our futures. DeEtte Renee is here to help answer those difficult questions. DeEtte excels at working with spirit and is a certified psychic medium through LWISSD. She is a master teacher and well-versed in the spirit world. Look, don't trust just any psychic with your deepest thoughts and worries. Trust DeEtte Renee, as she will deliver her very best for you. General readings, past loved ones, finances, your future. Contact DeEtte now on her website, DeEtteRenee.com. That's DeEtteRenee.com.
Hey, everybody, it's DeEtte Renee back here with School Through Spirit on WLTK-DB. Let's bring in Miss Kelly.
Hey.
How are you doing, my darling?
Good morning.
Good morning. I am so sorry. I sat there last night. I could not think of what link in the world you were talking about on any level. And I literally went to sleep going, whatever, I'm done even trying to rack my brain. I woke up this morning, went bing, and I went, oh my God, I forgot to actually send her the link to the show.
I don't know, it's a quandary, right? No, I had that one. It's just for some reason, the one that says like goes live.
Right.
And it's like blank. And then it like goes live. I couldn't find that anywhere. and I like scoured everyone's page.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's okay. It's mysteries, right?
It was a mystery. It was
It's
totally
in a
a
realm of
mystery.
darkness.
Yeah, I was just like, what is she talking about? And like this morning, because this is what I do. It's like I get the link from Todd in my email, and then I always immediately, as soon as I see it, I throw it to you in Facebook or wherever. And
Yeah.
that is my thing when I go in the morning to, to connect to the show. I go to your Facebook Messenger to click on that to
Yeah.
come in. That's how I do it. And I went there and I'm like, Kelly doesn't have it. Oh my God, that's the link she's talking about. It's like,
You
yeah.
you actually you did follow protocol. I did get it on the 30th from you.
Did you?
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, because I didn't see it on my end. I didn't see it on
No,
my
you're
end. I
fine.
was like, oh
I
my
was just
God.
looking for something additional. It's just behind the scenes stuff, guys. What makes a radio show come together. We're all here. There's just mysteries that happen sometimes.
That's just it. And I just told everybody how easy, and it really is. It really isn't rocket science to do a show, but you just have to kind of know the little bit of the lingos. That's all. Good morning, Miss Nancy. So it was just so funny. So I'm like, God, I know she's gonna wake up. I know she's gonna get ready. And gosh, I hope she looks at this to see that I've sent the link. So it was awesome. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go.
I love how I knew that I had what I needed no matter what. So I was fine. And I love the green that you're wearing. I'm wearing a spot of green.
Oh
too.
my God, I love that. I love that. This morning I was like, in Wisconsin, it's just so kind of gloomy, it's just gloomy. And I'll tell you what, I'm just so sick and tired of the gloom. I'm so sick and tired of the gloom. I'm sick and tired of the blahs, you know what I mean? And I thought, I was looking at my cover, I was going to put on this brown, and I went, no, we need bright and cheerful. We just need bright and cheerful today.
It's a great sweater. It really is.
There you go.
Really
bright and cheerful.
I was in San Diego yesterday, and normally it's quite sunny, but it was really gloomy too. The weather was, like 65. It was great. I liked it, but it was gloomy. Yeah. So,
oh my God.
But yeah, I needed something bright too. And I was like, I need to buy some more bright clothes. All my bright clothes, I don't know. It's just like, they're not around. I don't know what happened to them. I have to get some more bright clothes.
Well, and I get that. I've been buying clothes because I've lost weight. And everything I've bought, I mean, this is a sweater I bought a while ago. I bought it too small, like with the hopes of getting into it, because it was like Macy's clearance down to like $2. It was awesome. Because that's me. I'm a clearance shopper. I'm like horrible. Not that I won't buy something full price, but if I can get it like clearance 5 times over, that's where I start shopping, and I work my way up to the regular.
Oh, I have lots of tricks too. I feel like share. Seriously, I feel like that could be a whole other show. I have so many tricks that would maybe I don't need to buy it for $2, but I can get a lot of really nice things for some incredible prices. Yeah. I wait for it to go low sometimes, just like you.
Well, I tend to work. I don't know about you. I tend to go on my gifts, my abilities also. I do.
Yes,
I'm really bad with I just did this like a month ago. And there's certain stores I just never go to. And Old Navy is one of the stores. Old Navy, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Ross, whatever. There's stores I just don't frequent until I feel like I have to go. And I'm like, okay, there's something there for me. I have to go. So I had this feeling. It was me and my grandson one day. It was like a month ago. And I'm like, okay, why am I going to Old Navy? It's not time. They're not going to have anything out, blah, blah, blah. I walked in the store and I bought a bunch of tank tops, really nice tank tops like that are high up here. I put them over a sweater blazer. They look like a cami, 47 cents a piece.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
The funny thing is there must have been a gun air with it because they weren't all 47. Just all the colors in my size that I needed were 47 cents. And I walked up to he's going, I think that's a mistake. And I looked at her, she goes, but I'm going to give it to you.
Wow.
I
See, that's
walked in,
cool.
like a week later, I needed new pants. And I'm like, I'm here and go to TJ Maxx. I'm like, okay, I walk in. I'm getting like these really nice pants, like Michael Kors and all these really name brands for like $8 because,
Wow.
nobody's looked at them. And I'm like, how is this happening? But it's
Right.
because it's like spirit tells me you need to go to the store. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to the store. What? There's something there. So,
I Yeah, no, seriously, people use this in your everyday life.
yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah,
Like, you can use, spirit to communicate with you for what you need. So I don't think that's pretty awesome with the camisoles and nine cents. I'm trying to, like, remember any stories like that, but I've gotten a lot of, like, items. I'll be like, "Okay, spirit, I really need, like, new shoes, and I want them to be, like, awesome like this."
mhm,
And when it comes to clothes sometimes, like, I like things that last, like, 15 years.
right.
You know what I
Yeah,
I'm a I well, not for everything, but I don't know, I have this it has to do with, like, my chart and everything, why I would
mhm,
like that, like, there's, like, certain personality quirks we have.
right.
So, again, not for everything, guys, but, like, for this I could tell a story how long I've had this jacket.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, you'd
Right.
probably be shocked. Um, it's been more than 15 years I've had this jacket.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, that's awesome.
but it's, like, so comfy and it's, like, so a part of me, and I don't know, it's, like, comforting, you know what I mean?
Right,
And it's just, like, like, leather beats in well.
right.
You know what I mean? So, like, stuff like that. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
I'll, like, manifest something that's, like, right, 60, 70 off, like, very often. I won't get stuff for 50 cents. Um But it's also because I'm looking for stuff that sometimes is normally, like, for instance, I've manifested things that are like $2 and $3, but,
Right.
like, a lot of times I manifest things that are like $50 that are normally like $300.
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Come to mama, come to mama, like, you just come on down, right?"
right.
And it's just like it's like it falls out of the sky, and it's just, like, really nice stuff, the
Yeah,
stuff that you would have to change your lifestyle to buy, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yep,
I'll just be like, "I'm in the market for it, send it over," right? And it's
exactly.
like, it's all possible. It's
It
all
is,
possible,
it is,
like
and people that's one reason I teach, I don't know about you, but it's like
yeah, right,
manifestation, listening to
we
your
talk about
guides.
it.
I mean, they will help you shop, they will help you do it all. You know?
They really yeah. Like, for instance, right, if you I I'll say something. Help me manifest a dang, cardigan. I manifested the cutest cardigan. I loved it. I wore it, like, as a sweater at home all the time because it was,
Right,
like, perfect. I was always cold and I would just wear it. And I just within a couple years, it just, like, right, I ran it ragged.
right.
And since then, I haven't been able to find a camisole, not why am I saying camisole? I'm thinking about your story. A cardigan like it, and I'm just like, why can't I manifest the cardigan? I can manifest literally anything else except the damn cardigan. Anything like that? You're like,
You're
I've
gonna
been
get
looking
one
for
now.
this for 2 years.
You're gonna get one now because it's summertime. It's you guys are going into 90, 100-degree weather, and they're gonna clearance out to nothing, and it's gonna be perfect right there. You
Exactly,
know?
guys. Look for the deals. Like, look for linen in the winter. Look for cashmere in the summer. That's my tip. It works.
So there is humanity traits to shopping, but there's a lot of spirit in there too. So I love that. So you know what? You had said that about, what, that's like your numbers. That's how you work, and that's in your numbers. Like with myself, I'm the opposite. Like, don't get me wrong, I like my stuff that lasts forever, but that stuff tends to be to the back of my closet and I just don't touch it or I put it in a bin because I don't want to give it up. But I never actually put it back on again. I'm
Yeah.
more of a it's not like an instant gratification, but you know what? I like to shop. But I don't want to spend millions of dollars. You know what I mean? So every 3 months, every 5 months, I'm buying new stuff. I mean, it's not like a whole new wardrobe, but I'm buying new pieces or I'm always putting extra pieces in. Like right now, I'm on a shoes kick. I've decided that I needed all new heels. So, and not that I don't have enough heels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we go through waves, right?
You know what? Right now, it's like I have to filter in new shoes, and they're all vintage. I want vintage style. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
I'm constantly filtering stuff in, so I always feel like I have to have this refreshed feeling. So, is that in my numbers?
Well, it's
Or is
definitely
it just my learned traits?
there's a lot of factors going on. So you kind of did like a re-identification. There's that,
Hmm.
because you changed your energy, and so it's like a revitalization of self, revitalization of identity. So that's going on.
Okay.
And so you're coming more into that more and more, saying like, I need to feel like me. I need to feel like me. And in the past, so I know we're talking about overlapping charts, because anytime we have a name change, we
Hmm.
have overlapping charts. And so this is just referencing how there is residue energy and how we do change.
Okay.
And so I remember you had a lot of threes, and threes, they're just like on the fly, and they're just like, I feel like a change, and they can just go if they need to. But you came into more eights, and eights, a little bit more grounded, and they're more in touch with style. They're more in touch with kind of details, textures, colors. Um, yeah, like
That would
eight.
make sense.
It's the color of it's the I love like when we're waking up in the morning and we just say different words. Hello, 7 a.m. So it's the eight is the color. See, I'm doing it again. The vibration of manifestation. Color is vibration. It really is.
Right.
That's like that's why my brain is almost like it's the same exact thing. Just like number is a vibration. It's all vibration.
Right.
So a lot of people, when they have a lot of eights in their chart, and you had like two, I think, that came in, two extra eights that came into your chart, they're really connected to the energy of spaces and the energy of like visualization.
Okay.
So shapes, colors, how the room of an energy feels, how your body feels different. You're just aware of things that are more physical. You can interact with them in a different way.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense because I'm thinking of my shoes in my head right now and what you're talking about. Give me a second because I feel like I need to show everybody like what you're talking about, like a visual. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Give me
yeah.
5 seconds here, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
please do it. Bring those shoes out.
bring them. You were gonna be like,
Yeah,
no,
delicious. I'm having a proper tea.
you were gonna be like, no way, because what you're just talking about is mind blowing. Because when I was in the threes, very plain, very. I mean, still a nice shoe. Don't get me wrong.
It's more like three is on the go, and sometimes it's like theatrical, and sometimes it's just like it's loud attire, right?
Right.
It's just like, I'm here, I want to express myself. I'm here, and you just grab and go. But like, yes, eight
So
has
these
more
are my eights.
visualization. Oh, that's so beautiful. And that plays
You
into the
see what I'm
details.
talking about? Where I'm
Yes.
seeing what you're talking about, and it's like we're not shoe shopping, guys. But these are literally the change in my styles, and I mean, this is harder to see, I'm sure. But they're big, they're bold, they're velvet. You know what I mean? They got a gorgeous bow, very vintage. And I was like, I looked at these. I'm like, and matter of fact, I bought these in another color too that are coming.
Those are
You know what I
beautiful.
mean? Because I loved the textures. I loved just everything about it. I mean, my daughter looked and went, "What the hell is that, mom?" And I'm like, "Oh my
I like
god, these are like, I don't know." You know what I mean? But when you're talking numbers, I'm like, this
yes.
is the night and day difference between the two, you know?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it
Like,
really is like so like for instance, people who are designers, like fashion designers, they usually have eights.
okay.
Or anyone you know that has like a unique style,
Mhm.
like wears things very differently, but it looks nice. Like it has some
Right.
type of composition to it, has like a signature pop of color, or they're just really creative and expressive with their clothes,
Mm-hmm.
or purses or shoes right, they
Yeah.
probably have an 8 somewhere in their chart.
And that's things that have been different about me since I stopped using my last name. Since I energetically, like, it's still there, but I energetically just don't touch it unless I have to legally put it someplace. I just don't associate it with anymore. And it's really funny because literally my style is changing. Everything. I mean, and I am layering things, or I'm looking at textiles, I'm looking at textures, I'm looking at all of these things that, I mean, not that I didn't have a style before, but it was very boho type layered Stevie Nicks, and now it's just so much, it's drastically different. It's drastically different. So much more about, and I get into watching style people a lot for the weirdest reason. I'm like, why am I watching you? Like, really? But going, wow, and I can do all this and put a bright ass orange purse on, and that's cool. You know what I mean? People
No,
look
no,
like,
correct. It's different. Like, it's
yeah,
different. Like, for instance, it's a different mentality. How can I put it? I think, like, I know I've always been a visual person. I
mhm,
always have, and I've always kind of, like, that doesn't mean, like, you're, put together in every way. I've just always been the way that I think through things, the way that I remember things, very
mhm,
visual. I could go into it.
right,
Right. But I did notice because when I got married, my name changed too, like yours did. And
yeah,
I used to have one prominent, I still have a 3 in my chart, but I had one prominent 3, just like you. So you had a lot of 3s. And then I got 2 8s.
right,
And just like you, right? We share actually a lot of numbers. And I started buying my clothes totally different. Like for
right,
to sometimes it might have been similar, but again, the considerations were totally different. The textures were totally different. Quality became a huge thing. Quality was always a huge thing to me, but then I started really learning about quality and what quality meant. And um 8 is about, like, really, how can I put it? Sometimes when people have a lot of 8s in their charts, they're late bloomers because they start seeing all the details in front of them. 8 is a number of power. In order to collect power, you need time to, um, you know, evolve. You need time to put everything together. And that does take time. It takes time to bake a cake, right? A
yeah,
yummy cake. And so 8 sometimes are they're burdened sometimes because they're just so overwhelmed by details that they see in front of them. And other times they really rise to the occasion because they're able to go, I see this and this and this and this and this, and I'm putting it all together, and let me rock your world.
right,
Um, so you're going to be inundated by things differently,
yeah,
and you're going to take your time with what you see.
exactly.
As in the past, you didn't really look, and it's like touching things on the fly, but you still got it done. And this is a
Right. Oh,
different way.
I did, but I was all over the place. Had this, like I say, airy fairy energy that I was always like fluttering. I mean, I could have a million things going on in my head. I managed to get them all done, but I would flutter. Now, Pamela's asking, how do you know what number your last name is?
Okay, so the number of your last name isn't super influential. When we're looking at an overall chart, we're going to look at multiple calculations because it's just going to give more weight to what your energy is and more
Mhm,
validation to how you're running. So we're going to look at in the type of numerology I do, because I always state there's many different types of numerology. It's just a matter of what you connect to and what you can find most accuracy in personally. Um, and then you can also sometimes take other knowledge from other systems too, if you like that as well. So I do Pythagorean numerology. It's a form of Western numerology. So I take core 6 numbers that a person has. So that is their name and their birth date. And the name portion that I look at is the whole name that you go by when you identify yourself within the world. So you have to introduce yourself like that. People have to know you by that. And some people have 2 names, like, mom and dad and family and friends, they know you as one way, and that's how they identify you as. And that's you. And then for work, you have another name. We look into kind of like what really is you and how you identify. Once we find that, if you have two names, we take your two names into your chart consideration. And, essentially you do have a more complex chart than your average person. But we look at the whole name. So for instance, like you'll have, let's say, a 3 vibration last name, but a 2 vibration first name. You're going to have a 5 power number because adding up everything together creates your power number. But we don't look individually at the first and last name with much consideration other than kind of flanking what is your main chart.
Mhm.
Sometimes I find that not for everybody, but it's very common
Right.
that a lot of people share like their first name vibration. Like, so for instance, like Kelly is a 2 and I'm a life path 2. A lot of people have their first name is similar to their life path number.
Right.
That's a common occurrence that does come up. I've also noticed that when women change their name, sometimes they take on more sixes in their chart because they become more domestic. That's kind of a common occurrence. It's not a super common occurrence, but there's certain things that come up in your chart based on how you change your last name, but it's not exactly the vibration itself of your last name. It's how your last name influences the rest of your chart.
Oh, okay. That does make a lot of sense because I keep thinking about my son. Excuse me, I'm not going to say his name because I haven't asked him if that's okay. But like I have always referred to him since birth a nickname because he's a junior, you know. And my whole family still does call him that. But for everybody, and he totally associates with it with us. But for everybody else, he uses his full name.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's like I see his energy change whether he's with us or whether he's it's like we're just within our family. I'll see one energy. And it's not like he flips to be like somebody else, but when you associate with like a whole nother group of people that just know him by his first name and that's it, all of a
Mhm.
sudden his energy just changes. And I'm watching, my God, he's all grown up. He's all, it's like, oh, so I look at that as the name of that energy is just totally amazing then.
It's a really good example, and then you have to really have a communication, with the person themselves, like a sit down and go, "What's the truest version of you?" Like, do you feel most free and true and alive when you're with your family or when you're at work and, you're working, to creating the person you wanna be in the world? Where do you feel most at,
Right.
peace with yourself? And then the person kind of would have to start looking into their soul and merging the two identities together because a lot of people don't realize they split themselves, even if it's just a nickname. Now, that nickname has to have a lot of weight, like you said, like everyone in the family calls
And
them
it
that.
is everybody
And
since birth, like,
right.
boom. I mean, literally. So anybody on my side of the family, it's wait. It's like, if I would say his full first name, they'd be like, "Who's that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it's like he has to make peace with the two worlds, and if there's not that in consideration with kind of how he functions, he could be at odds with himself in some ways. It depends on the person. A lot of people they kind of struggle sometimes because they want their family to take them seriously or they're not happy in
Mhm.
like their jobs and they just want to be more authentic and you can see the struggle within their charts. Again, not everybody, but that is something that comes up quite often. Anytime I hear about people having two names, um, there is usually some talk about kind of changing identity to a certain degree within their life.
Mhm.
It mirrors in some way.
Yeah. Oh, and I can definitely see that. I know he has total fine with it now, but I could see that in the beginning. You know what I mean? In the very beginning. Now, Pamela says, "Thank you. I need to choose my maiden name or my married name." So thanks for really helping with that. Now, guys, remember get your birth dates together because Kelly's going to be doing readings this morning too.
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. In a little bit, we're going to be focusing on that. So, Pamela, that is a more complicated question because both vibe, every number is great. It is. It's just a matter of kind of what numbers go with other numbers more harmoniously. And so it's a completely different conversation because we're getting into relationship numerology. Your chart has to be in harmony with your husband or wife's chart, right? I just put it out there. I don't know, who it could be completely harmonious for you to change your name for your partner, or it could actually create some, you know, ups and downs because you're not going to function the same way with the way you
Right.
communicate, with the way that you operate and kind of perceive the world. So I would have to take yours plus another's chart.
Mhm.
That's how I would answer that question.
Yeah.
And then we could look in more deeper to that. So that does take a reading, or that does take a completely different show, because you would need a whole other person's numbers and you need more than just their birthday.
Right. And I mean, I can feel completely feel with people like married versus made, blah blah blah. Because myself, I was born with one last name. 5 years later, that was taken. I was half adopted, so I got another last name that I've been carrying my whole life. And it's only been the last 6 months I'm starting to resonate with my first last name I ever
Yeah.
had. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow. And I'm almost afraid to say change my name or associate with it because it's like, where's that vibration gonna change? You know? But it's also really funny because we were talking about this when you're looking at the numbers and the different resonation of it. And I mean, there's not gonna be a secret with this. My last name, as everybody knows, my legal last name is Stewart. It is Scottish. It is a royalty, last name of royal. It's a
Mm.
royal family last name. But my birth last name is Alexander, which is also Scottish, but that's like Queen Alexander, Queen of Scots, So it's like still within the royal family. I'm not saying I'm royal. I'm not putting that there, but you know what I mean. But it's kind of like one more up, like royal to king, queen. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like, then I'm like, well, what if I do start resonating with that? What if I do change my name back to my what happens then? You know what I mean? So it's something to not take lightly. It really is not something to take lightly.
Right. It's not. It's not something to take lightly, and it can change your personality quite drastically. And I mean, I've done a lot of people's charts, and I've had conversations with individuals, and some of them are scratching their head sometimes, and they're like, it was like everything changed when we got married. And I'll go into their chart, and I'm like, okay, was it around this year you got married? I'm seeing a huge change around here, and then I'm seeing with your name that you would have kind of become a different person in this way, right? Because it's like things had to start to shift, and they naturally did. And then they're like, yeah, actually, you're right. Like, I thought it was because, you know, I just was uncomfortable in the relationship, right?
Yeah,
But my personality was starting to become like this. And then my dynamic with my partner was like this, and it just didn't work. And there was a lot of fights because of that.
right.
And so, how can I put it? There is a way to have a relationship with a person if both of you have really conflicting numbers with one another.
Excuse me.
It doesn't. It's okay. It the chances of it working out are not in your favor. Isn't that crazy? Free will always trumps everything, though. You have to. Here's the thing: you have to be in a very enlightened and peaceful place within your life. You have to be very whole within who you are. You have to be very fluid in your perceptive thinking and your empathy with people, because what happens when you have conflicting numbers with a person is there's going to be miscommunication. Okay. Like I like to think about it as like the Tower of Babel, right? It's like everyone kind of spoke the same language, and people were just like, okay, all right, we're just talking, we're just like living our lives. And then all of a sudden people had, uh, hundreds of different languages, like, this is a metaphor, guys, but hundreds of different languages kind of like, you know, came into the world and no one could understand each other. And then there's all
Mhm.
this war that broke out because no one could understand each other, right?
Right.
And it's just like if you can't understand each other well, things probably aren't going to go well. But if you have intuition, empathy, insights, poise, and you are one with your spirit, you're going to be able to go like, this is really hard, but I'm willing and I'm able to do the work with you.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And it's like, again, it's not going to be the most fluid journey. It's just not, but you can, and it's possible for you to be there with the other person.
Right.
You just both will have, more lessons in that department because you're constantly kind of shifting with each other and going, okay, I have to work like this and you have to work like that. And let me check in with you like that. And again, that is exhausting for a normal life, I would say. So you have to kind of just be like, I understand the hurdles, but I'm saying yes to this relationship.
Right. Now, Ellie is asking, she says, can you please explain email addresses and how to figure them out? Do you only
Oh,
use
wow.
the numbers before the at or only after the at or add them all together?
Okay. So that's a great question. So the email address is like an address. It's like a phone number, right? It's like, where can you come find me at? And I wouldn't use the at or like, if you're using Yahoo or Gmail or the .com into the equation because everybody has that and that just like takes you to a certain domain, right? The at. It's kind of just like what the name or the numbers are before the at sign. For instance, like if someone's doing an LLC, you take the vibration of what the LLC's name is, not LLC with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then there's like a debate too, like area codes. When you're picking, some people can pick a phone number when they're changing their business or, they're moving, they have multiple phone numbers to choose from. And so you don't really look at the area code per se, but you look at the 7 numbers.
Right.
Because the area code again is like a domain. It takes you to a certain region. And so just like focus on kind of what your numbers would be for that region, not actually the region code or the at sign or the www. I hope that helps.
Well, then I have a second question for that because you have somebody like has my email address, because I have the one of my emails is so old it's still hotmail.com. You know what I mean? And then my second one's so old it's still live.com. But my most recent one that's for my business, it's medium before the at sign, but it's my name.com after the at sign.
Yeah, but
So it's like my own personal domain, you know what I mean?
correct. The identity you connect to is medium Diet Renee. So medium would be taken into account. And that is a word that showcases not only your uniqueness as well of how you want the world to see you. So absolutely, you would then take medium Diet Renee, and that would be once you break that down, those are your numbers. Absolutely.
Okay. Because I know
So
a
it
lot of
wouldn't.
people out there have their own personal domains.
Yeah.
They have that domain that nobody else is going to have but them.
Oh, you mean okay, got it. I'm understanding. I guess like I mixed up what you're having to say. So it's like instead of .com, it's .medium.
No, it's medium at dietrenee.com.
Medium
So it's my
at.
own domain.
Oh, okay, the medium.
Does that
Okay,
make
so
sense?
yeah, that makes sense now. So it's still a domain. So the domain
Yeah.
functions as like a portal, and
Right.
your actual page would be the vibration. Excuse me, the actual then thing. So how can I put it? Just the word after
Medium.
the at. Right. It's that. That's the vibration of the page. Yes.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
It does. It does. Because I was like, I know there's other people that just have business people we're able to get our own domain. We're able to get our own email that says this is just instead of alive.com or yahoo.com or whatever, it's dietrenee.com, so the
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
like there's ways that obviously I would say you're making it your own. So anytime you're just more in touch with what feels more like you're just going to intensify certain things and it's going to have more magnetism because it has so much of your unique some vibration into it. But for the actual vibration of the page, it's just the in-between stuff, because that's what is your identity, and the others are the portals for people to come find you.
Right. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. My internet is funky today for some reason.
It's pretty seamless over here, so I don't even notice it. Like, some people
Oh,
tell me
good.
sometimes, like, "Oh, I hear feedback." I'm like, "I don't hear it on my part."
Yeah.
And
No,
then
it's my side, and I don't even know why. It's just telling you what. It's just
I like your
you never know.
expression with it. You're like,
It's
"Oh, I don't even know."
it's whatever. We got a great producer that just makes it work on the other side, thank God.
Oh, he's
So
buzzing.
Nancy is right. I don't know anything about numbers, but I'm definitely more myself without my husband around, which I truly believe. Two different people. So wouldn't that be more personal instead of the last name?
Wouldn't that be more personal instead of the last name? So,
And
I don't know
Ellen's
about
just thank
numbers,
you,
but
that
I'm
clears it
definitely
up a lot
myself by my husband.
with the
So it's
email.
like, um, vibrationally, if you have no nickname,
Mhm.
that calls you or you identify with, vibrationally, your energy would run the same, but sometimes it's how people make you feel like you can be yourself. So there's some type of support system that runs so deep that you're able to completely be yourself. And so you open up. Okay, so there's certain people that come into our life. Oh, I hear the feedback now. There's certain people that come into our life that really are blessings and angels, and they have our best interests at heart, and they make us, kind of better versions of ourselves. They show us things that maybe we locked inside for a long time. We just didn't feel safe and comfortable, and so, yeah, those are the ones to keep, let me tell you. If someone can make you feel more like yourself at any time in your life, those are the ones to keep. But yeah, like, if you don't have any, if you didn't change your last name in the past year, right? That's not
Mhm.
a factor. Or the last 5 years, that's really not a factor. Your vibration really changes within the first year to 5 years. If you change your name, and you might notice a very big difference about yourself if you are married, right?
Mhm.
Or newly married, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like, sometimes it's not about names, it's about people are just kind of hiding, or they're not comfortable, or they had a lot of trauma growing up, and they're just like, I have difficult doing life in this way until I have someone in my corner, right? Or I'm just shocked that someone can love me so deeply that I'm actually healing parts of myself just being around them. Okay? So the way that would be identified is in a chart reading. If we talked about that, um, I would highlight certain traits within his chart, and you go, yeah, he is like that, and that would highlight why he's able to support you, right? And so we would talk about maybe so much how you haven't changed, which you already do identify with. It's just a matter of he's able to be a really good grounding support system. And so that accuracy would be highlighted and observing both of how your charts work together too as well.
Love that. Deborah Razal is saying, I have a name that can be made into 3 variations. I identify with none of them strongly, and I find myself telling people to call me whatever they are comfortable with. That
Uh-huh.
seems weird, but I strongly identify with my last name and do not carry my husband's last name. Go figure. And
So
I identify Deb as, Deb Razal. That's how I identify her. So,
okay, gotcha. Like Deb or Deborah or Debbie, right? That's probably what she's talking about. Um, and yeah, so that's good. That's good that you have identity to, something like you said your last name. You're like, I really feel connected to my last name. That's good. We need to feel connected to our names. We need to feel like it is an expression of ourselves. And yeah, definitely. I would say usually when I hear from people ask me that question when they're doing numerology charts, like, oh, I have, like, for Johns, right? It's like Johnny, Jonathan, John. Like, they have their friends calling them all different variations, right? And
right.
they're like, it's too much, and they can feel it. They're like, it's too much. It's like my name's up for grabs, and I want
Mhm.
more people knowing me as John, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's like this internal thing that happens within a person, and they're like, well, kind of, who am I? And yeah, to start telling people which one that you have chosen most often. Maybe you don't love, right? All the three options, but choose one that you are kind of going with, because it will make you feel not so kind of, okay, I'm this way and I'm that way. And it will help your energy to ground. And you can also adapt a nickname, and then you can have it be anything you want if you don't like those three. And yes, your chart would change if you really love that nickname. So
Yeah.
it's just about stepping into how you want the world to see you, and stepping into feeling comfortable in your own skin. And sometimes we have to create that pathway for ourselves. And it's not with the name that was given to us. And we do have to take charge in one way or another, which is you're picking one of three predominantly, or you're taking on a completely different name.
Yeah.
We have to take charge of our energy. And so when we have so many different names and we don't identify really with any of them, or so many name variations, it does weigh on our psyche a little bit. So I just
love
I
that.
want to just extend that to Deb.
I do have another question. Maybe this is just like really off track here, but like with my name, yeah. Now it has two pronunciations. Okay. And
Mm.
people do separate it into two totally different pronunciations. And I am totally fine with whichever way. Whichever way. I will say half of America will call me Diet. The other half call me Dayat.
Oh, wow.
Now, does the
Yeah.
pronunciation mean anything different?
No, as long as it's spelled the same.
Okay.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
long as it, yeah. I mean, sure, it's gonna have a different feeling behind it, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's the number the numbers individually, how they add up.
Okay.
It, it's so funny like that, but yeah, it's just like you can spell it. Um, let's say you could take your name and flip all the letters around,
Mhm.
and you'd still have the same vibration.
Okay.
You could put, like, you could be Iet and take off the D and be like Renade. Iet Renade, and it would be the same
Same
vibration.
thing. Thank you. Yeah, because I know I kind of I'm like, that would make sense to me, but I'm like, all of a sudden you're changing the pronunciation, and obviously the difference is one is a D, the other one's a day. You know what I mean? So it's like same letters, but totally different sound when you pronounce that different. So
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
does that change the energy?
um, I think it might change kind of like a vibe, but you're still gonna be operating the same way. There's gonna be no difference, because the our names, yes, for a split second, it does influence how people perceive us. That's such a surface kind of momentary
Mhm.
influence at times. Um, it's interesting because in certain people's charts, you can tell they really have taken on the persona of how people think of them. So that is something that is, we can talk about that. But for most people, they're not necessarily the surface layer of how they present themselves within their charts within numerology. So what's happening is ultimately people are perceiving your energy and they're going, what to think of Diet? And the greatest power is with what is your vibration. You go, well, this is who I am. And so you show up with a unique number vibration combination, and you just go, this is who I am. So it doesn't matter if your name was all mixed up or if they're pronouncing it wrong. You are who you are, unless you change your identity. And then you would show up and act differently, and they would perceive and receive you differently. So you have the power in your name, not how other people perceive you.
Like, so maybe if I change my last name to legally Alexander, somebody will send me a crown.
Maybe so, right?
I'm sorry. Popped into my
I mean, if you legally change your last name, we're dealing with a completely different chart. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
you never know.
you never know. You never know. Deb says, "Thank you. I really feel like Deborah, Hebrew name that means bee, and she was a biblical prophetess." I can't talk this morning or any morning really, but Deb seems to be what flows. Much appreciate your insight. So I love that.
Oh, wow, interesting. Isn't that funny? I looked at her because it's spelled Deborah, right?
It's
Like
spelled Deborah.
on Facebook,
Yeah,
and I addressed the last thing I said to her was I said Deb.
yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know, like I even went, oops, well that just kind of came out. So that was supposed to come out in some way, and there you go. 'Cause
There
you're
you go.
person.
I love
So
it. I love it.
that's validation for you.
And Nancy says, I like understand the explanation. So that's awesome. Because sometimes people just don't understand, you know? I mean, even like addresses, like if it's so funny. I'm not gonna say my exact address,
Yeah,
but
don't blast your
I'm
address
not
on
gonna
the.
blast my address out there. But and more people, and it's so funny because when I have to give it to like legal people or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm like, it is so funny because I live on cemetery, blank, 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 cemetery, blank, 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 the name of the street, road, drive, whatever, cemetery. And they all go to me, oh, that's creepy. And I'm like, oh, but wait a second, I'm a medium. And they're like, oh, that fits. You know, all of a sudden it's like,
Works.
but when you're looking at the first numbers, too, that people don't realize you can change the vibration. You can be
Yeah.
moving into someplace where your first numbers are just not fitting vibrationally. And you can like literally put a number above it. I've heard people like putting the address on the inside of their house, but they'll add an extra number to it to change the vibration,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, if something does not suit you for whatever reason, we kind of get into why. Um, you can stick numbers in various places. So if you want to change the vibration of your house, absolutely stick, let's say, a number. You can tuck it behind your address physically on the outside or like right by your door because you have to have energetic association. If I stick a number here, it's connected to me changing the vibration of what's outside,
Yeah.
right? So there has to be some type of intention behind it, and it has to be it has to have an organized intention. Like I'm changing the vibration of the house, and this extra two is linked to the address, right?
Yeah.
Because if you want to, let's say you do change the vibration to, I'm going to say a different number, three in of your house, and you're like, this is a three vibration now. Let's say you wanted to increase three energy, you could just start sticking a bunch of threes in like your kitchen, in your bedroom. You could just say, I'm amping up the energy of the house. I'm going to stick more threes. Now you make the intention to that those additional threes don't add to your address and then, change the vibration of your house. Because, if you're just sticking random numbers everywhere and you're not making intention, it's just going to kind of accumulate, and then you're gonna have some like random vibration in your house that you're
Mhm.
bringing in because
Yeah.
if you put four different threes in the house, right? You're gonna have a different vibration than if you're gonna do three different threes, and that's nine, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Four different, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
Which
gonna
I
have a three
love.
versus nine.
I love that. I
You have
love.
to have the intention with the numbers. That's like the
Yeah.
whole, like for instance, a known kind of, I guess, tool to increase abundance in your life is sticking a 8 in your wallet.
Oh.
Yeah, I wonder, do I have a fresh 8 in my wallet? I've had a 8 in my wallet for years. Um, and until I got a new wallet, and then I was just like, I'm taking this out. I don't know, I just felt like I needed to take it out. Like I felt like my wallet had this vibration of the 8. It's a really, really cute wallet. Again, manifested it. I love it. And every time I hold it, I just feel the 8 energy. So I'm like, I think I can take it out. So I think I did take it out. It might still be in there, but I know I took
What
it out
does
for a
putting
while.
the 8 in the wallet do?
So 8 is a number of like abundance, power, materializing, manifesting.
Okay.
So that's kind of why we're talking about like fashion for a
Right.
section of the show because 8, you're gonna be much more aware of like again color, texture, composition, how things fit on you, quality, because like you're more aware of the physical.
Right.
And that's that 8. 8 has a huge amount of physical weight because it manifests.
Right. Oh, I love that. Because you and I are both in 8s right now, the 8 year. So
Nine. We're both in 9s, but we
we're
have
both in
8s.
9s, but
But
we
we
have
both
8s.
have, yes, but we both have prominent 8s. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now I want to add on this month, April of 2022, not the single date, but 2022. So that takes at what? 2, 6 plus a 4 brings it down to a 1. Am I right?
So you don't go about it that way exactly. So,
Okay.
yeah, you don't
Like, yeah,
I
yeah.
I understand how you wanted, like a certain outcome, but so you have to go a different direction.
Okay.
So, for a life path, you add everything together, but like to get your month and your year, you do things a little bit differently. So, for instance, like your month right now, you're in a 4 month, and you're in a 9 year,
Right. So what
right?
does that mean? Right. So then the
So
month is separate than the year then? Okay.
yes. So your year stays throughout the year, like 2022. You get your
Okay.
year, fresh year in January, ends in December. It's a calendar year, and it links to the theme of your life. Okay,
Okay.
excuse me. It links to the theme of your life, so it's very influential. It's kind of like you're gonna take an additional life path lesson throughout the entire year.
Okay.
Okay, and then um, month to month, the energy of how you enter that is going to change.
Okay.
So it's like you're in a year of 9, so that's all about shedding skin, letting go, letting the past go. It's about things that held you back don't hold you back anymore. Okay? It's about like honestly saying goodbye to a lot of people around you if you need to as well, because it's about completely stepping into a new form of yourself, and you have to shed and let things go in order to do that. And it wouldn't be like because you're saying goodbye because you're like, I want to be this, see ya. It's you're saying goodbye to anything that doesn't serve you anymore, so there'd have to be a very deep rooted reason.
Right.
um, right. This is like years in the making. This was years coming. If let's say all of a sudden certain people don't line up with you anymore, this is not out of just fresh out of this year. And the theme then of that, because we're in the month of April, so it happens to be your month is also a 4 as well. It wouldn't be for everybody. Um, what would be that the way that your life is going as you are letting things go, like finding your power, getting your groove, is that it's going to be a much more steady month. Like last month, you had all these tricklings of opportunities. Like I'm sure that business was good last year. Excuse me,
Oh,
last month.
oh
I don't
yeah.
know why.
Where it turned around. New stuff, new stuff, new stuff. Yes.
Spirits coming in where they're like, oh, we're gonna trickle in last year too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So last year, but also last month, business was really good. Can you take that? Like it was just like you had so much opportunity coming into you that you're like, okay, and I can grow like this, and we're gonna do that now, and I'm just
Right.
catching balls, and this is like really good for where I want to go.
Right.
And it's like this month it would slow down because it's all about kind of solidifying and getting ducks in the row and organizing. And so it's not going to be as crazy this month. So the way that you come into being for this entire year is going to be, not the same every month. Some months you're going to be like, by the seat of your pants, and other months you're going to be like, I'm kind of bored, even though things are going really well. Like,
And that's good for people to know, because we get that, like for myself, up until recently, all I did was get my number for the year. And then it didn't always pan out. And I went, well, what's that?
yeah. So it's like our numbers for the year doesn't guarantee we're going to get anything. There's these things at play. Like for instance, last year you're an 8. For some people, 8 is going to be very prosperous. For other people, there's going to be a lot of health issues and hard lessons
Mhm.
because it's the number of manifestation. So if you are putting hard work into your energy, you're going to see results. And sometimes it's not the results that you expect, but that's where your energy is lining up. So you're going to see results, good and bad. And especially if you're not doing the work, if you're not within your health, what's going to happen is you're going to be met with what needs to change in a very harsh way.
Right.
So again, someone could have a completely different 8-year manifest because of those reasons, and also what other numbers are in their chart. Because someone with, let's say, a life path 4 is going to probably have an easier 8-year than somebody who has a life path 5.
Okay. That can make complete sense.
Yeah, because of certain number clusters. So there's a bunch of different influences of how well a year would go for somebody and what would probably happen in the year based on the rest of their numbers. And also you'd preface it, this is going to be easier year, or this is going to be difficult. And it's going to be easy or difficult depending on these reasons as I look at your chart. So it's not a one size fits all at all.
That
When I talk about numerology with you here, it's truly a snippet. It's truly a snippet, and we talk about overall themes. But when you get into a reading with a person, it's really like a psychic reading.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally, it's like numbers are like cards. You go, I see these numbers, I'm seeing the signs, and then uniquely, I see how this relates to you.
Right.
And then it's really quite detailed and extensive.
Right.
If we're just talking about a 9-year, then we're gonna be like, yeah, 9 means this.
Right.
It'd be a completely different conversation if I had someone one-on-one. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Does make total sense. We have somebody that wants to switch in some numbers, so let's get a few of those in because we've been going on for an hour now. So, which is always, I love the knowledge. I love the understanding. I think so many people have gotten so much out of it, which I love. But Denise is putting her number as 5/1/1958.
Okay. So I don't need the time.
Right. That's why I didn't say that at you.
That's no and then Denise, if you could just confirm too that
she's in America.
Okay, she's in America, and great. So anyone else that will be putting down their numbers, please like write out the month. So like write out the word April or May, because in the UK, and sorry, I'm like a broken record, but I have to specify, if you're from the UK, you will flip your numbers. Yep. And you will get a totally different chart reading that's not accurate. So you need to just write out the month, because that just safeguards everyone to make sure they're receiving the right numbers. Okay. All right. So let's do the math.
Anybody else? You know what? As we get over here, we'll get as many as we can get done. If you have your dates and your birthdays, then please put them in there, and we'll answer them as we get them.
Okay, that's right. Yep. Yep, that's right. Okay, so she's a personal day 1, and when someone's a personal day 1, it's kind of interesting to talk about personal day for a second. I'm just going to do a little clarification. Personal day is your most outer layer, and sometimes people are very much aware of how they give off energy to others, and sometimes people have no idea how they give off energy to others. And within a numerology reading, it's really helpful to know about your personal day energy. And it's really easy to find your personal day energy. It's just reducing the number on the day you're born. So if you're born on the 30th, it's 3 plus 0. You're a 3, right? If you're born on the 2nd, your personal day energy is a 2, right? So think about it like that. It's really, really helpful because you can land interviews easier with others. You can influence how people perceive you on dates if you're looking towards, understanding more about relationship energy. The way that people act around you as a mother in your family is dependent on this number at times. So it's like you can use this number really to your advantage the more you know about it. And so she has a 1. So people actually look to Denise on first impression. They actually look at her like as a leader. they look at her and she stands out in the crowd. She's noticed. She can grab people's attention, and so she may or may not know that. But I say always, if you have a one, use it to your advantage. If you ever want to do something, you want to rally people to your cause, people will go, okay, sure, because they just believe in you because they're able to see your vision more clearer, and they just look at you and they think that you're going to be able to get it done. There's certain influences like that with vibrational numbers. So know that if you ever want to strengthen your voice in your life, you have a lot of help in that, where people will take you seriously the more you try to shape and create kind of more opportunities in your life where you're stepping into your own. So she is a life path 2, and she is a natural healer. She's naturally very sensitive and tuned into other people. Anytime I see a life path 2, I always tell people to watch your diet, because you will be more sensitive to foods. Things will offset you that don't offset other people. So just be, very conscientious of that. And she's an attitude 6. And so anytime someone has an attitude 6, they really live their life by their friends or their family. So they'll always, if they like you, right, they'll pull you in and they'll try to make you kind of more a part of group things, group activities, because they like that group energy. They like just to pull everybody together to have a great time. And it's really about bringing people together. So, I mean, with the 2 and the 6, and then she has the 1, she really can lead. If she wants to organize, that's if she wants to do it. And she can pull people together much more easily than the average person. So that's my advice. Use this to your advantage. If you want a new project, it will be successful. You're going to have people rallying and supporting you because you do that to others. So don't be surprised if, all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is really getting off the ground. Where are all these people coming from? Because you help others so easily and so naturally. So
Perfect.
that's what I say.
Well, the
I hope
next,
that makes sense to
I
me.
think it does. I know her, so I think it does. Now, Deb Jacob is next. She is May 20th, 1959.
May 20th,
1959, yeah.
1959. Okay.
Because of the internet or with StreamYard, where Todd's not going to put them up on the screen for us.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, oh, it's usually right. So
Yeah, normally yes, but we're having some issues. So he's putting them in where it says our comments, where it says live and it says start. He's putting them in the start for us. Although they are in everybody's comments, but that way we don't lose them. And not everybody's going to see the start thing that I'm talking about, but Kelly does. So
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because I don't see it as a star, but I see something else. But
well, there you go. Well, you probably see the live. I probably get the start because
I see it. I see what you're talking about, though. I'm like, oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
So okay, we have for Deb. So for Deb, he's an attitude 7, a personal day 2, and a life path 6. Do we have that right? I was talking during that, right? So
That's
sometimes
okay.
when we talk 6. Yeah, 7 plus 6. No, she's a life path 4. That's okay. This is why I double check. Okay. So she's an attitude 7, and as an attitude 7, she's very it's funny because I'm like, let me double check it and kind of like look into that. And that's kind of like what a 7 would do, because a 7 doesn't take anything at face value.
Right.
Like double check, observe, like kind of go, what's really going on here, right? All right. And they just step back and they're able to see things in ways that other people aren't. And so they're very smart and they get things done. Deb it's interesting too. So Deb has, when you first meet her, she's like very kind of like soft, gentle energy. And
Right.
so when someone has a personal day too, it's great for dating because people are like, oh, like you want to be taken care of. But in the workplace, sometimes people are like, oh, you're more kind and you're more to yourself. And sometimes people want to stand out, right? And be like, this is who I am. And I don't need anyone's help. I can get it done. Right. So it's
Right.
like, right, in these different modes, people might see you in these different ways, right? And so she has actually like this really sensitive energy. But gosh, she is smart and gosh, she gets things done. Because with her life path as a 4, like and her 7, like she just absorbs, like she's always absorbing information, always reading something, always picking up. Like if you ask Deb something, like my goodness, she'll have something that she read about it, and
Oh
she'll
yeah.
probably blow your mind with everything that she knows, like the details. You'd be like, "Wow, where'd you get that from?" And it's just because it's just so naturally her. When someone has a 4 and a 7, they would be a great teacher, honestly, if they wanted to be, because they're able to relay information so well and so accurately. And so it's just a matter of kind of what she wants to do with getting out of like again, it's kind of like breaking forth to the next layer of who a person is as they continue to evolve throughout their life. It's like, how do you want to share all this knowledge, Deb? Because my goodness, like you are organized, you're put together. So where do you want to have all that go? You
Right.
want it to stay with you? People need to share what they have, and so it's like that's kind of the next step that I'm seeing. Like, put yourself out there, share more of what you have.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Because I think she would surprise a lot of people because when someone's a 4, sometimes, um, it's like they have this treasure trove of wealth within them, and if they have the attitude 7 with it, they don't share it as often as, let's say, they could. They're very, like, they don't show their cards, so they would shock a lot of people with what they really do know. So I'm just yeah, shock a lot of people. That's what I have to say, Deb. Shake it up. All right. So who's next? Is that would
We
be
have got next, we have Nancy Ryber Hunter, and she is
Nancy?
July 30th, 1954.
Okay. I see Deidre too, so I'll do
Yeah,
Deidre.
she's down past that. So it's Nancy is next.
Got it. Okay. Oh, I see it. Got it. So then, all right, 7:30. Oh, wow. Interesting. How Yeah, that's right. You have my mom's birthday exactly. Isn't that funny? She has Nancy has the same birthday as my mom, month, day, and year. That's funny. So, with Nancy, she loves a good laugh. When she walks into the room, like she can make herself known. And she does things, the way she wants in her own time. She's an attitude 1, and attitude 1s, like they're very like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And if I'm kind of inspired to go this way, I'm gonna do it because it feels right to me. And that 3 energy of that personal day, with being on the 30th, when she walks into a room, she's like very just people gravitate to her.
Right.
Obviously it's dependent on how she's giving out her vibes because she's a 1. So she can be like, I don't feel like being social today. And people would kind of follow suit, and she would lead the vibration because the 1 kind of takes the lead and just does what they want to do. But a lot of times people, yeah, really do gravitate to her, and she can help influence and change the vibration of a room for the better. Um, she is, yeah, she is a life path 2 as well. So she helps, again, she helps people for the better. Like she has a lot of invested interests of lifting people up. She has a lot of just natural charisma to do that. And she has that healing sensitivity where she can do it with great care. And so it's a matter of balancing, I guess, what she feels compelled to do versus what she thinks she's compelled to do. And it's like always, my advice to her is always return to your heart.
Mhm.
Always take a moment to just like feel into things, because that 1 energy that she has, it makes her go, I'm inspired to do this. I'm going to do this. And bam, I'm off. And it's just like, great. I want you to employ that, but I also want you to just sit with your inspiration for a second, and you can actually bring a little bit more full-bodiedness to the vision. And if you just kind of like lean into your heart a little bit more, okay?
I love
So
that.
yeah. So I would like her to work on, if she can, too, some meditation, because I just think her brain is rather quick, rather fast, and it kind of energy needs to drop down into her body a little bit more too. So if you don't want to do it yourself, get somebody that can help you with meditation. If meditation alone is too daunting or it's not fun, then do yoga and meditation. Okay, yoga is going to get you into your body, and it has a meditative element to it. So find things with a meditative element that are going to get you back into your body and down into your heart. So that would be my advice to her. I think that would really help her energy.
I love that. I love that. Hopefully that helps her. Now we have your Deidre. I guess we did skip over Deidre, so I apologize. Let's get back to Deidre. On November 14th, 1966.
This is Deidre.
Yeah.
And then November 14th, 1966.
1966.
Okay, so 5, 2, 7, and then we have 3 plus 1, so that's 4 plus 1, so 4 plus. Okay, cool. Yep, just making sure. Okay, so Deidre is personal day 5, and so when someone has a personal day 5, they can attract so many different types of people. So we talked about like previously with Nancy, we talked about how she can kind of just walk into a room and people, really they're kind of like pulled towards Nancy, and they feel kind of very like these positive vibes around Nancy that can like make her energy very attractive, very uplifting, right? With Deidre, she has a bunch of fun energy around her, but the energy can be like, whoa, what's gonna happen today? Anyone can come my way. It's like no matter what the personality is, they will find a way to kind of wiggle their way over to Deidre, and you never know what you're gonna get. So in her life, it's like, we have certain friend clusters, and they're around our individual personality, right? Well, she knows like literally just anyone, and there's no one personality type with Deidre. It's just like she knows some crazy people.
I'm one of
Right?
them.
Yeah. There's a reason for that. Some numbers can pull like all sorts of different people to you, and you're just like sometimes like, I'm not in control of my own life. What is happening right now? And you kind of have to like set all these boundaries. And so, Deidre has the energy where she'll kind of like, a group will just form around her, right?
Mhm.
And it's interesting because the way that she lives her life with some of her numbers, again, I have to look at more of her numbers. I feel like when I'm reading her chart, I'm like, oh, there's more to Deidre. Like Deidre has all this unexpected energy that again, she's one where she kind of holds her cards close to her heart, so you kind of can't figure her out until you know more about her.
Mhm.
And even when you know more about her, you kind of didn't see that coming. And it's because she has that attitude 7, and the attitude 7s are just, again, they observe and they know more about you than you know about them, and they kind of like it that way. It serves them. But she's very sensitive. Again, she has that life path 2, and that life path 2 is she's very sensitive to environments, people. So even though she has all this kind of like crazy energy going around her, or she knows some people who are just, can be like that, she's the one that can kind of step back and be kind of a little bit of a calm in the chaos. And so people appreciate that she's not necessarily adding more of the drama. She's like more of the helper.
Yeah.
But she just has so many different people that like you just wouldn't expect her to be friends with. And she's like, oh yeah, yep, this is so and so and that's so and so. And I guess one of my advice to her when I look at her numbers is, let's see, she's a 7 and so she's in a year of 4. And so this is a year that is going to be a little bit more like slower for her. We talked about 4 is a little slower energy. It's about like building. It's about getting things right in the house. It's about getting your foundations all set. So, really work on home life. Really work on feeling comfortable where you're at. And really, if you're not comfortable with where you're at, move. 4 is about like reshaping your home life.
Mm-hmm.
Have to be comfortable and you have to feel safe, where you go back to. And if that's not in the equation, it's time to change. It's time to move. And if you don't do that, life will really make things like whoa, like crazy for you, because you go into the next year 5, and that's all the number of change and chaos. So if you don't do things that you need to do, life finds a way next year to go, okay, we're going to make life so crazy that you're going to have to change.
Exactly.
So use this time now to change what you need before it gets crazier next year. You'll do well with the change next year. Your numbers will help support you do well. But, you might feel like you're pulling your hair out this year, and it's just like, just make the changes to make things better, because you know what you need.
Right. I love that. I love that. I'm putting your website, because people are asking, like, how do they schedule a reading with you? So I'm putting your website in the comments for everybody, so they can just do a quick link over right now.
Awesome.
But then you can keep going. Does that make sense? It's like trying to make it so like, hey, Torin. Torin is saying good morning.
Hi, Torin. It's great to see you, Torin. You can find me at my website. I'm under like the readings tab. If I do healings, different types of readings, and I do mentoring. So you'll see multiple tabs, or like events sometimes. So you can get a reading through there. And then let's see, you said keep going. So who are we choosing?
We're going on to Mary.
Oh, it's Mary. Hey, Mary.
I hope you know I'm like totally destroying her last name, and I apologize. So I'm glad you know her. But she is January 4th, 1960.
Okay. January 4th, 1960. 1960. Yeah, Mary's such a sweetheart. She really is.
Awesome. I totally destroyed her last name. I'm so sorry, Mary. I tried. I gave it a big something.
A big something.
Something. Spirit, I do get names. I do get names. I do get names. That's what I say over and over again. I do get names. I do get names.
You do get names.
I do get my
this
names.
Is something that I know about you, and is very possible. Okay.
I do get names. I do get names. I have that mantra, and I do have another one, because I have a friend that keeps showing me these big, beautiful Victorian houses that I just dearly love, that I have to, every time she posts one to me, I put in the comments if I love it. I am wealthy. I have more than I need.
That's a very 8 thing to say, by the way. Like 8s are very connected to feeling stability through financial security. If they don't have financial security, they don't feel quite right.
And I never used to be that way. I'd be like, whatever. Now I'm like, bring it on. I need more.
For real.
More stability, more, you know what I mean?
It's an 8 thing. It's all about what can I create? What can, I need to have the physical evidence of what can I create and what can I have. It's not a greedy thing. It turns into a greedy thing for some people. It's not a greedy thing. It's just what they are connected to feel like they are abundant. That's it. So with Mary, she is a personal day 4. So on first glance, when you meet her, she has a seriousness to her. So you might kind of size her up and go, "Ooh, that's like a natural, teacher." It's like she's serious. She kind of almost has like this logical vibe to her. So a lot of times, sometimes people translate the energy to teacher energy. Not always. And her attitude is a 5, so she's very on the fly with how she does things. Like she'll just get like lightning quick inspiration, and she's like, "I'm off doing this, I'm off doing that," and she's very good on the fly. That's how she feels, natural, fluid, very connected to traveling, very connected to trying new things. People who are 5s, they need variety in their life to feel happy and not smothered, and not like they're living Groundhog Day. So, and they really learn through, hands-on rather than from a book. And so she's a life path 3. So anytime someone is a life path 3, they need to communicate within their jobs. They need to be speaking their voices. They need to be using their voices. I know a little bit about Mary, not a lot, but I know a little bit about her, and I know that she's a wonderful singer, and that's something she likes to do. You know, and it makes her so happy. And so, anytime someone has a life path 3, whether within their career or their hobbies, they're gonna be really connected to music, or comedy. It has to be something auditory. Like, that auditory vibration gives them so much happiness and healing, and they connect to sound so differently than your normal average person. There's just this complete emotional spectrum that they have with sound, so they have to be expressing themselves in order to be themselves. And so I know within her cycle too as well, she's in a 2. So this year is really about being in touch with her emotions in an entirely different depth. So it's a very spiritual year for learning about really why she's having her highs and lows with emotions, and why she's like, why do I feel this all of a sudden? Like I'm in touch with my emotions. Where the heck is this coming from? And like 2 is made, it's a year of emotions and love. So you can have great love, great healing, and great understanding. You just have to do a tremendous amount of self-reflection and honoring those emotions as they come up. And you do need things to go a little bit more slower, and not to have as a crazy schedule to do that. So make some you time. Like, schedule some self-healing sessions with yourself, where someone is taking care of you, or you're able just to have a day where you do nothing but focus on yourself. This is the year for that. You have to have days like that so you can understand yourself.
Yep.
That's my
We are doing, hopefully that helped with her. Now we have Carissa Corbine next, who is March 15th, 1980.
Okay, cool. And so is her daughter. See,
And Zoe is her daughter. Zoe's a couple more down on, like one more past her on the list, but we'll do them together because
okay.
Carissa is in Wisconsin. Zoe, I believe, is in Colorado. So Carissa is March 15th, 1980.
Okay, so the Carissa is the March. Okay, got it.
Yes.
$19.80. So she's an attitude 9, and she is a personal day 6, and she is a life path. Oh yeah, and then she's a life path 9 as well. That's right. Yep, that's right. Okay, so Carissa is a very social person. Like, yes, it's very.
I love Carissa.
It's very off the bat, very like extroverted, like, wears her heart on a sleeve. Honestly, if she felt right by it, she would give you the shirt off her back. Very the number one thing when I see 9s, and she has 2 9s in important placements, is 9 is really the number you have to consider with boundaries. It's like, when you have 9s and then she has 6 as well, those are such people influence numbers that you live your life by the people around you. And it's like you have to kind of find by what ethics and what rules you want to do that by, because it's like 9s are so empathetic that they'll kind of just be like, oh, you need me like that? Okay, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. And it will like make that person kind of like split off into different versions of themselves. And because they're like, yeah, you need me, or yeah, like, okay, I'll go do this. And it's like they're not even realizing they're doing it. So it's so important for a 9 to kind of take a personal account of themselves and be like, okay, who's around me? What are they asking of me? And what is that doing to me? Because 9 is a very selfless number to a fault. Okay, they can become different people because they are so selfless. In different environments, with different people, you'll kind of they're honestly they're chameleons without even having an intention to be a chameleon. It's just like they just be. it's kind of like a vessel of spirit where needed. So it's like you just have to be the navigator and the master of your compass, because you'll land in a situation for a reason. It's just a matter of, you're there for a reason. Now keep your head on straight so you can do the best by you, and you can keep people in check, because people will listen to you. And if they don't, and they're being destructive and they're dishonoring what you're trying to do to help them, then you can walk away, and you're able to do that because you have your head on straight and you can actually see truly what's going on, rather than putting yourself in a situation and your empathy just keeps you there because you are just worried about the person. So that comes up anytime when you also see a lot of nines. There, that is a symbol of a difficult childhood. It's usually where the child is the parent, or the child is not raised in a way where they're seen, because it's basically like you're there, but your parents don't know what to do with you. Okay, and that manifests in different ways, and it manifests in enhanced people pleasing too, which then goes into the whole boundary thing. Okay, so but my gosh, I have to give her credit. Anytime you do see nines, like, that is a very capable person. Like, they're like MacGyver. They, give them a paper clip and they'll figure out how to make it into a bicycle. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
they're very resourceful, very clever, very creative, and it's like sometimes their difficulties or all the juggling that they have in life, it just makes them into being such a well-rounded person, and have one hell of a sense of humor. And usually it's dark humor.
Yeah, she's amazing. I'll tell you what, she's probably one of the most selfless people I've ever met. So, and she really is.
That goes into it. That goes into it. So it's just like Carissa, anytime I see that again, it's like boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. And it's like you're able to do so much because you are a leader. So step into that leadership. People assume leadership, but they don't honor all the things that come with it. So sometimes, a lot of times when you see nines, they're given so many responsibilities, but they're not getting the pay for it. They're not getting the prestige for it, and they're not getting the recognition for it. And really, people see all those things in you naturally. But you just have to step in and be like, okay, I'll do this, but can I also have this as well? Because I need things too. So, yep, don't be afraid to say yes, no, and make things very clear, because people will support you because you're one of the few that can get things done.
Love that. Love that. Well, we have time for one more. So let's do
Daughter.
Yep, let's do Zoe. And Zoe is May 27th, 2001. Or wait, June 27th, not May. June 27th.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
June.
Okay.
Sorry. Zoe, I just made you a month younger.
So Zoe is an attitude 6. She's a personal day 9. And she is a life path. Yeah, wow. She's a life path 9. That would be, yeah, that's 6. Yeah, wow. So, wow. Isn't that so funny? When I read it originally too, I read it because, like, I just read things on the fly and then I focus more when I have to go, oh, I have to go here, right?
Right.
And then you have to direct me too. And I looked at her and Zoe and I'm like, I just thought I read that Carissa and her had the same birthday. I'm like, that's not right. There's 2 different birthdays. I'm like, their charts have to be similar, or they have to be the best of friends or something like that, right?
Well, not only that, they're mother and daughter, and they're like virtually identical in looks. Like if you take Carissa with a picture of Zoe at the same age, it's like they already look identical, but then you put them at the same age, it's like, wow. So
yeah, and their energy is very similar. They have the exact same numbers, but in different placements. Okay,
yeah.
And so she, Zoe has 2 9s and a 6, and her mom has 2 9s and a 6.
Love that.
You know what I mean? And they're both life path 9, and so they're both very social people. They're both very extroverted people. I feel like Zoe. So we talked about boundaries with Carissa, but I feel like Zoe, mom helped instill this in her too, but Zoe naturally has actually very solid boundaries because she's an attitude 6. She has a 6 in her attitude placement. And the 6 is people flock to Zoe, and she has, like these groups of people, right? Because
Hmm.
anytime you see an attitude 6, they make friends, family, and you make these groups of people, right?
Right.
And there's all this loyalty that goes involved. But 6s, they know how to draw the line. 6s are like, I either love you or I hate you. You know what I mean? Like they make clear cut lines. Um,
Right.
and it's all about protecting the pack. 6 is very maternal energy. So it's very protected, very guarded energy. So, that's something that I see within Zoe that, Carissa would be proud of. Like, oh, look at my daughter. She's like, she's able to do this. And it's like, right. Zoe, so anytime someone has a personal day 9, so that's like your most outer layer, remember? 9s glow. So 1s and 9s, they glow in a way where people go, I want to follow you, or wow, like there's something kind of unique about you, right? So she can have people naturally very flock to her and look up to her. So she does have a lot of leadership energy that she can use to her advantage. She just has to make sure I told Clarissa about this. She just has to make sure that people are paying her value, and that when she shows up, she knows in her heart that she's doing the right thing and in the right place. But she needs to go, yeah, okay. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be here. That's within Zoe. And yeah, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but she needs to be like, and I need this and I need that. Okay,
Right.
so she can't be afraid to speak up when it comes to like more career endeavors. Okay, she needs to be um a little bit more of that, that badass boss, right?
Hmm.
And come into her confidence. And she'll continue to evolve into that absolutely, but to not overthink it, just to go, this is what I'm worth, this is what I deserve. I need this. Okay. The last thing I'll say on that is that she is in a cycle of 3. So this is a very good year for Zoe. She's going to meet a lot of different people. Life is going to change for the better. Even like a career change can happen for this. So it's really like ride the wave. You don't have limited options. Zoe, never feel like you have limited options, and go get what you want. Stand up for yourself. There you go.
Love that. I love that. Great job. Awesome. Well, I know we didn't get to everybody, guys. I apologize. My gosh, so many in one day. So, but how can people find you, Kelly? Again, I know I put it in the comments, but let's let people know how they can find you again and go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, one of the funnest ways to find me is I am on the Psychic Hour here on
Yes.
WLTK-DB. So I, feature wonderful, fellow psychics and mediums, and we talk about spirituality and coaches and just all over the map. But where you can find me at, if you would like to book a reading, is through energeticsessions.com. That's how you coordinate to set up a reading, and I reach you directly there. And I also am on like just major platforms like Facebook. I have a business Facebook page that people reach out to me to on, and then you can see what I'm doing, what classes, right? So whether it's on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Pinterest or Facebook, I'm under Kelly Brickel, and you'll find me pretty easily. But please, yeah, energeticsessions.com. I'm doing a great deal. Numerology readings, all numerology readings are 15% off. How fun is that? So
Oh my
take
gosh, that's
advantage of
great.
it.
And
Yep,
I'll
take
tell you
advantage
what,
of it.
we've had like 3 or 4. They're like, we're not even going to put our numbers down. We just need to go schedule a reading. So hopefully they're all taken up on that deal with that you're giving for the month or for the time being right now and jumping on that.
I love doing numerology readings, everyone, and you get a lot of information. It's like it's a psychic reading mixed with a numerology reading. It's just like, here we go.
Here we
And,
go.
exactly, you will get a lot. And
I
it's
love
a perfect place because yes, you're gonna get your numbers. And sometimes there's certain people who don't even want to know so much their numbers. I'm just able to read them and I'm like, let's talk about your life, right? And other people, they're like, I really want to know my numbers. What does it mean? So it's like it's very unique for whoever shows up,
that.
and really truly a life reading. You
Beautiful.
get yes, you always get your numbers afterwards. So you can look back and go, that's what it meant in numerology terms.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Kelly. She will definitely be back on again, everybody, just so you know, because we already made this commitment like, hey, she's going to come on and do numerology readings for everybody. So awesome. We
Right.
just don't know when. We just don't know when. So thank you, everybody. This has been tremendous, Kelly. Thank you, everybody, for coming and listening. And again, next week, you will see Miss Charlie Lynn instead of me. So, everybody, this is Jet Renee at School Through Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye-bye.